All right. A's faithful. We have won or tied 4 straight series. Screw today's tragedy. We showed what we are, and we almost had our 4th series victory in a row. We are that team now. We aren't a fluke anymore. We aren't the 0-4. And you know what? We're 9-4 in the last 4 series. We're learning how to win. We become a team of pitching. We win 1-run games. We're in first place for the first time since 2021, and we're going to get there again. Welcome to the Habit Hunter A's podcast and the House Always Wins podcast network. I'm Tim Burns. You can call me Hobbs. I'm a sports writer covering the athletics for the guys at Mid-Valley Sports out of Los Angeles, where I cover the amazing A's as well as the entire NFL desk. You can find me at Sacktown A's Fans for Life on X and this, the Habit Hunter podcast. Habit Hunter, this is a show that reviews every series. We analyze trends, tendencies, both good and bad. Together, we will cover what players are trending up or down and analyze moves management and the ownership make. We got to keep an eye on ownership, right? Because we want to know what they're doing at all times. We identify problems A's players might be developing, and we look for solutions. We have already identified a few trends this season and have seen the team respond accordingly. Showing us that, we were on the right path. Together, we are the Habit Hunters. Remember to click, like, and subscribe. I know everybody asks that, but it keeps a massive amount of A's content in the algorithm. And the House Always Wins podcast network has a lot of talent. Go watch them. Go check them out. They're awesome. We were going to do a roll call at the end of the show and see how the players and team are doing after the Rangers series. And hang in there. Roll call is my favorite part of the show. With that, let's get cracking on the Texas Rangers. We finally got to have some time in the crib, right? The home crib, a 4-game set against Texas. This was the first of 3 4-game series in the first half of the season. And ironically, we have the Angels from the 18th to the 21st of May and June. So lots of division games coming. And let's just call the first game of this series jet lag, okay? Maybe too much champagne on JetBlue during the return to Sac International. Is it coming off a 5-1 road trip? Maybe reading all the positive press. Maybe that was it. Coming into the Rangers series, I had a serious question though. Why no off day after a New York roadie? Spending all that time on the East Coast. Time change. Anybody? Bueller. Anybody. MLB. Come on. It could have been the flight home. It could have been the time change. Or maybe our starter killed the vibe. And yes, I'm talking about Severino. Sev is back to crying about the mound. It took him 17 pitches into the season. Dude, you make 25 rocks a year to play a game. Nut up. Like, you grew up playing in crap leagues and crap. And, if you're in the minors, you're playing in less than stellar conditions anyway. So, nut up. I'm over excusing this guy and blaming mound conditions on his bad innings. I mean, the way I look at it is this. 81 pitchers won at Sutter Health Park last season, right? 81 pitchers. Someone won. So is it really the mound? Or is it Severino using it as an excuse? So I checked back. I rewatched everything that I could. And other than his initial dig into the mound in warmups that was shown on the broadcast, the man did not look down. Okay. He didn't look down with mound issues any time through his 2 walks and the first 16 pitches. I watched it twice. Now, he threw some oohs, and we talked about that last time. Out of zone. He threw some out of zone, and he allowed some walks. And he started whining. So everybody has to go make Luis feel better, right? Everyone went, coddled him on the mound. Announcers coddled him in the booth. So what does he do? He serves up a belt-high sinker right over the middle. for a 3-run dinger by Jake Berger. This guy had 2 on the day, and we see him again and again and again. I'm sick of this guy. Anyway, suddenly it became about the mound, right? He can't blame bad pitch placement on the walks on the mound. You know, he wasn't okay. Look at the first batter. He wasn't casting blame on anything when he struck out the first batter. He didn't look down. He didn't look irritated. He didn't look around. Didn't look at the bench. No, you feel me? You know, he didn't have a problem with it when he was doing well. The minute he sucks, starts looking distracted, like he did for the rest of the first. You know, I thought he got over that crap last year. You know, I thought the end of his season, he stopped whining a little bit, started doing a little bit better. I thought he'd turn the corner, but apparently not. So what does he need to do? How about go inspect the mound before the game? I was on my little cast back and forth between the guys. We were texting back and forth, and one of them said that. How about go inspect the mound before the game? Doesn't that make sense? Or maybe tell the groundskeepers how you like it. They call it home field advantage for a reason, right? Every home team in every sport adjusts for its players. Like even in track and field. Like I was a nationally ranked discus thrower back in the day, growing up. And my coach, he would move the sector that we throw into depending on where my throws were landing that day. It's called home field advantage. That was a little shady, but yeah, maybe, but it's home field advantage. Seb has to grow up and just pitch. We don't expect the world from this guy. We know what he is, right? Just, dude, go pitch, man. You're fine. And he did settle in. He only gave up another solo shot by Berger for the rest of the way, but he did take the loss. He's 0-2 now. His ERA is up to 5.59. He lasted 6 innings, 6 hits, of which 2 were Berger's homers, right? He still had the walks, the 3 walks, and he had 7 Ks. Now, because of the way he reacted here, I got a feeling we're going to see this every home game until he has a badass stretch of innings, right? I got a feeling this is going to be an issue. I was hoping it was over, but no. Jack Perkins, he came in after. He's a Jekyll and Hyde. He threw about as good an inning as you can in the 7th. 7 pitches, 2 3-pitch outs, or 3-pitch strikeouts. That's awesome, you know? Then he went into the 8th and he threw batting practice, right? Double, strikeout. Okay, cool. Single, walk, single, double, single. I'm not lying. Single, walk, single, double, single. What's weird about that little batting practice display is that 4 of those hitters, he had them down 0-2. It was weird. It's like he had control of them and then just lost it. I don't know. At the plate, the A's ran into a buzzsaw. Nathan Eovaldi, you know, the guy's good. The guy's he's been really good. He dominated our bats. We look like a team that just spent a week sleeping on crappy beds, right? Not their own, multiple time zones away, got a little sleep on the way back, and then have to play 15 hours later. And, you know, back to MLB. Come on, man. What are you guys doing? You got to give a day off. You gave us days off last week and the week before on Monday. It's like, what are you doing? Anyway, Eovaldi went 7 innings. He only gave up 3 hits and a couple of walks. Only Muncy reached on him twice, single, and then he dotted him in the wrist. Butler, he homered in his last at bat. He halted his 1-for-16 slump at the plate while leading off. And I looked at some leadoff stuff. We'll talk about that later. But Kotsay started Shea on Tuesday at leadoff. We didn't see Butler again at leadoff after this. He went 1-for-16 slump at the plate while at leadoff, right? That's not going to do it. But back to winning, right? Jeffrey Springs is our number 1, hands down, right? If we made it to a playoff series, tell me you're rolling out Severino first. No, not a damn chance. Hell no, right? At this point, I would have Savale second in my playoff rotation because Sev is Sev. You know, let's be real. All right, let's be real. He's a 4 or 5 in most rotations, right? We have to remember that. He is what he is. We're looking at these youngsters, you know, it's an interesting, let's just put it this way. It's an interesting postseason hypothetical, right? Would we leave him in the number one in the rotation because he eats innings and is a fighter, or would we pull Springs up? And for that matter, would Springs succeed? Would his success wane pitching versus other number ones? Would he not be 3-0? Would he be 1-2? It's fun to think about. Anyway, Springs, he had another solid outing. Holding Texas, 1 first inning run. He went 6 1/3, allowed just 3 hits. He issued a couple walks. He struck out 5. We're talking solid outing. He had quick innings. Like, check this out. Excuse me. He took only 6 pitches to get through the third. 6 pitches. And he took 9 pitches to end the 6th. So he was spreading it around. It was just effortless pitching. He struck out 3 of the last 4 he faced. And in my opinion, he's actually getting stronger as the game progresses. Now, it might not show in the box scores, but just how he's pitching and what he's choosing to throw, I'm just seeing that he's getting stronger as the game goes. All right. He took the win. The man is 3-0. And I forgot to check on it. I might look it up. But he's 3-0, and he's got a 1.46 ERA, which is sick, right? A starter with a .77 whip. Remember, that's walks and hits in innings pitched, right? So .77 for a starter is a man controlling the at-bats. He's controlling the way the at-bat goes, right? That's excellent. I'd have this guy as my starter. Justin Sterner, he took over with 1 out in the 7th, and the Rangers doubled immediately, right? He just got me comfortable with him coming in relief. He used to worry me, and then he had a couple of good outings, and then he's stressing me out again, and he survived, right? But he couldn't finish off the 8th himself. And his ghost, it haunts us in the finale, but we'll go there later. He walked 2 guys in a row after having both down 0-2. So he was pulled. So they saw the writing on the wall. We couldn't do anything about the writing on the wall in today's, but what are you going to do? Elvis Alvarado saved him with 1 pitch, and Mark Leiter had an easy 2K 13-pitch 9th for his save, man. We were worried the entire 9th because of the amount of people that he allows on base, man. He scares me. We're going to see him later too, but he had a good inning and a solid 9th. So Ranger starter Mackenzie Gore, he breezed through the first time through the A's lineup. He had control until a Denzel Clark double. Now he went down 2-0 to like 5 of the next hitters over 2 innings. After the Clark double, Gore walked Shea on 4 pitches and Kurtz in 5 pitches. So it was obvious he had lost his way, and Gore's good. I mean, we keep hitting these pitchers when they're doing well, and we're actually surviving pretty well against them. Jacob Wilson, he had a clutch single to drive in Clark and Shea for what was the winning run. All right. Everyone's stoked Clark started that 2-out rally. And I was stoked, obviously. We needed it. But you look around, what surrounded that was 5 strikeouts, right? 3 in front and 2 in the back. There was 5 strikeouts, and he wasn't 1 pitch that double. Now, he was back to the 3-pitch strikeout, the 0-2 count thingy to begin at bats. But we give him his grace, and I'm going to give him his grace, because for yet another series, this man may only get 2 hits every series. He does another amazing catch that saves a game or kills a rally. So, I keep talking about it. I still want him to go down for 10 days and, 2 or 3 series and sit there and just work on stuff every single day and don't get on a plane and just work on it and see if we can get that angle up, because everything seems to be like 6 feet, 5 feet off the ground. Right. So we want maybe a little more 32 degrees, 36 degrees, 42, anything, no more arc in that hit, right? No more line drives that's going to hit somebody in the gut. He actually had an RBI single to start the scoring Wednesday, and we're going to go over that too. But you know what? The man is just next planet on defense. He's fun to watch. He really is, except when he's at the plate. That's usually when I go grab something to eat, go to the bathroom, something. Anyway, Rangers gave up twice as many walks as hits in the game. And overall, the A's were really selective at the plate. They just played a good starter, all right? That's why there wasn't a lot of hits. 3 singles, a double, 8 drawn walks. But the A's were held to just the 2 runs. Sodi and Shea each drew 2 walks, and that was pretty much it, okay? Now, Wednesday was a signature game for me. It answered, how do I say this? It answered if the road trip was a fluke or not, all right? Hard-fought 6-5 win. We won with small ball and long ball. Now, the reason what I mean about fluke or not is like, yeah, did we just have that? And now we're going to go back to being the A's that are, 2 games under 500 or lose 2 or 3, that kind of thing. And it's apparent we aren't, right? We aren't. Anyway, let's go with the first with the small ball, right? Carlos Cortez, he walked with 2 outs in the first. Another pro at bat. We keep talking about this guy. He does have good at bats. He doesn't usually swing at stupid stuff. Rarely goes down 0-2. If they're 0-2, they're right there in the middle. They're right there in the strike zone. You can't help but take a swipe at it, right? Sodi doubled in Cortez. Quick 1-0, just like that. After Max Muncy got beamed in the back in the second, Kotsay sent him stealing. Guy took second. He got moved over on a ground out. Clark singled in the second round. Quick and easy. It was just like bam, bam, right? I'm going to bring up the third, though, for a second. All right? Let me take a sip. After Wilson singled and McNeil walked, Muncy had one of the worst at-bats I've seen from him in quite a while. 3-pitch whiff city, right? Ugly. And he went on to strike out 3 times. Excuse me. Got to get something to wipe my nose here. Sorry about that, guys. He struck out 3 times in a row, and they looked horrible, right? Maybe it's being pulled Tuesday after being hit on the hand, so maybe it's the hand a little bit. Maybe it's when he got hit in the back earlier, right? I think it's pitchers avoiding fastballs. I know Muncy struck out on both fastballs and sliders, so I'm not sure. But the Rangers in division may have a bit to do with it, I think people were just giving him the wrong pitches, in the last 2 or 3 series. And I think that's where we were at because, he didn't do well. And we'll go over that later when we get to the roll call. In the fifth, Shea doubled, Sodi and McNeil walked, right? But Muncy, again, he struck out with bases loaded. It makes me wonder, again, if he's nursing something, he does get the day off in the finale. So, maybe he is. Butler singled in the 6th, and Shea hit the longest home run in baseball this year, 467 for a 4-2 lead. That thing was launched. I encourage everybody to go check that out because that was launched, right? And 4-2, it was 4-2 because Ginn had thrown one right down the pipe earlier to Seager. We know who Seager is, right? He crushed it, 2-run homer earlier. I forgot to mention that. After a Sodi walk, Jacob Wilson, he launched a 2-run homer. And we needed that because after Ginn, he had a decent outing. Leiter almost blew it up, okay? But Ginn, he went 5 1/3, 2 hits, 4 walks, 2 earned. And Hogan Harris came in to relief. And him and Scott Barlow, they cruised the rest of 6th and 7th. Hogan did take this win. I think he was only in two-thirds of an inning. But he took the win, which was nice. I don't think he have. I think he has a 0 ERA right now. But back weeks ago, I pointed out Mark Leiter can't be trusted with all his base traffic late. He doesn't believe in a clean 1-2-3 inning, right? Then he had a couple great outings, and I felt like I looked stupid. I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's the man, right? He struck out the first guy he faced and then went off the rails. Walked, single, and then, what are you going to give to the guy who had 2 home runs earlier in the series, right? If I could draw a little square and put it as close to the middle as possible, just imagine that. That's what happened. He served Berger a fat burger, a 3-run bomb. So that 6-2 lead is now 6-5. Great. But fortunately, I mean, who figured that this guy was going to be our hero, right? Joel Kuhnel. He came in, 4-out save. He saved the end of that inning. And again, we guaranteed ourselves at least a tie for the first time since 2021. We were in first place alone. That's what I'm saying. We were in first place alone. Now we're tied again. People can talk metrics and say, oh, tiebreaker. Too early for that. Anyway, because I want to at least say I'm in first, right? We've had a good run. We deserve that. I want to point out Kurtz hit leadoff, and he went 0 for 4. He's got to be hating batting leadoff. He had that one good game where he was on like 4 or 5 times, something like that. He's got to hate it. I think he's batting 171, batting leadoff, something like that. I hate it. He should hate it. Shea doubled and homered. Wilson 2 for 4 with a homer, both with 2 RBIs. Sodi doubled and walked twice. McNeil, he isn't getting hits. He didn't get a lot of hits in this series, but he did walk twice. He's there, and it seems like the whole Wilson McNeil, Muncy McNeil. We keep getting, like, when we're doing well, it's when we get in two successful at bats out of the 3 guys, where at least 2 reach base, whether it's walk, hit by pitch, single, double, whatever. It always seems like we're doing well when we can get those 2 or 3 guys running. In today's game, the bats had to deal with Jack Leiter. And since he's cousins with Mark, I was kind of hoping his Mark's outing would rub off on him a little bit. Hoping maybe it ran in the family. He was in trouble all game, but the Athletics only broke through in the 5th with him. Now, look, Sterner pulled a Mark Leiter and blew the amazing 8th inning comeback for us in today's game. And I want to show you how he let this one get away, because it was a great game until Sterner touched the ball. Shea walked and Sodi hit a ground rule double in the 5th. Okay. Wilson followed with a 2-run single to tie it up. And Cortez then singled Wilson in for a 3-2 lead. Amazing, because we weren't touching anything, right? Like we were getting people on base, but we weren't scoring. And it's just like, we're not getting there. No clutch. Well, we ran through. We got 3-2 lead out of that, right? Ace starter Jacob Lopez. He had a decent start. It was totally a shame that relievers tanked this. It was a sure win, man. It was. If you saw it, you know. If you saw it, you know. It just broke your heart, right? Lopez had a decent start, and he only allowed 3 hits in 5 innings, and he had 4 walks to go with 5 strikeouts. Now, we've kind of tracked him already. We love this guy, lefty. We love this guy, but he has a tendency to get behind in counts around the 5th. It's almost like he's flipping a switch to let you know, I'm about to go off the rails, right? And he went 2-0 to the first 3 batters. He walked them loaded, 1 scored. Now, what can I say? Luis Medina, he promptly gave the lead back. He allowed a walk and an RBI double before ending the 6th. Now, surprising or not, I was saying I wasn't expecting Medina back, but Cott let him start the 7th, and he left after giving up a single that, yes, scores, that. It's like you get confused as to what is he going to do? Is he going to, stick with these guys working an inning, or is he going to straddle the innings all the time and have a guy, even though he sucks for part of his first inning, have him start the second one and do it all over again? I don't know. It seems to be working for the most part, and that's what's frustrating, because he's not following what we're thinking he would be doing, and it's working. Maybe not in the finale, but it's working, because Barlow gave up a 2-run homer to go down 5-3. Right? Jack Perkins. Now he comes in. He has an 11-pitch 8th. Now he's had a horrible outing last time through, I believe, and he had an 11-pitch 8th, and he held serve. We needed 2 runs, right? So what do we do in our bottom half? We go single, then we do a fielder's choice. So someone's on first. McNeil doubles. Thank you. We're going to talk about him at leadoff. The Rangers intentionally walked Langoliers. Now, I get that. The guy's back on, right? But they did that to get to Kurtz. I mean, didn't they check and see how he does with the bases loaded? Like, I don't know. Bad decision anyway. Cleared the bases, 3-run double. Beast mode, man, beast mode. It felt like destiny. I was just like jacked up, screaming, throwing my stuff, knocking stuff over. Dogs are running away. Wife leaving the house. You know what I mean? Anyway, it felt like destiny. And then Sterner. And I'm not going to go over Sterner's Mark Leiter imitation. Given the 6-5 lead in the ninth, I thought it was over, right? But no, he aborted an A's victory, man. 9 batted around, 4 scored. It went something like single, error, because he has to screw up too. You guys all saw that. Error, single, intentional walk. Okay, like Sterner needs more base runners, right? He hasn't got anybody out yet. Anyway, I get the double play. I do. But, the next guy singled too, and 9-6. I mean, way to tank and be a lighter, right? This one was the one I'm going to refer to for the rest of the year. The bats were fine. 13 hits, 3 doubles, 4 walks, a season low 3 strikeouts. That's it. You have to go back to the Braves. I think it was the rubber game in the ATL where we had a decent day and there was like four strikeouts. Other than that, we're like 10, 12, 15, that kind of thing. Too many, way too many. Anyway, Shea reached 5 times, going 2 for 2 with 3 walks. Kurtz 2 for 4 with a double, a walk, and 3 RBIs. And damn it, Kotsay, leave him there. For God's sake, leave him there, okay? Put him in a 3-hole and leave him there. And leave McNeil at leadoff. I was going to talk about that. They flashed some numbers on there. I knew he was good. Because, let's face it, I think he hit 300 3 times in his career. Has a batting title. So, of course, his career leadoff is like 160 games or so, 140 games. His career leadoff is 304. Check these numbers. 19 home runs, 36 doubles, 71 RBI, 55 runs. His OPS is 839. Why are you putting Kurtz in there when he obviously doesn't succeed there? I don't know. I don't get it. Wilson went 2 for 5, 2 RBIs. Wilson is 4 for 12 batting leadoff this season as well. So think about this. He's batting 333. McNeil's batting a career 304. And Kurtz is 6 for 35 this year. It's 171. What are we doing? Let it go, dude. I know he's stubborn. Sodi singled and doubled. Cortez and Butler, they had 2 singles each. It was just a day where the bats didn't cover the arms, but they tried. Now, that said, we went 2-2. We were 9-4, like I said, in the last 4 series. You got to be happy with that, right? I'm stoked. I am stoked. I know ending the series is really hard to get hyped up, but I'm looking at it as a whole. We are 9-4. Everyone's talking about us now. Before the season began, did we think we were going to start the season in Canada, playing Toronto? And then we were going to go up in New York roadie, and we're going to play the Yankees and the Mets. And we were going to only have 2 series at home, that we would be 10-9, tied atop the division. Come on, man. That's amazing. So let's do some roll call real quick, and we'll wrap this up. How is the team looking? Low-scoring games means drops in efficiency for the bats, right? Obviously, if you're low-scoring games, you're not doing everything right? But there were good signs, and the production in the loss Sunday did help us overall. We're batting .234 as a team. We were batting .235 last week. We were 15th last week. We're 17th this week. So, we're right in the middle. Team ERA, we dropped a little bit. This last game kind of killed us. 4.47 is our team ERA now. So we're trending down a little bit. But, hell, we won 2 of 4 games. So what are we talking? Individually, Shea is dialed back in. He went 6 for 13, 461. He had a double, a home run, and listen to this, 5 walks. Listen to how many times I talk about walks. 5 walks. He reached 11 times in the series. That's outstanding, just outstanding. He's 7th in the American League. He has a 324 average now. He's boomed. He had a great series. He's reached base in 8 of the last 11 games. So he's on a roll, okay? Jacob Wilson, he went 5 for 16. He's 312 with a bomb. That's what he was. He batted 312. He has reached base in 6 of the last 8 games, so he's heating up. Now, somebody we don't really talk about because he's kind of just been around. Lawrence Butler, he's had hits in 3 of 4 games in this series, including a home run in the opener. And he's quietly reached the Mendoza line of 200. So down there flipping around 140, 154, 170. He's up to 200 now. I'm really stoked about that. I want to see him hit 240 and we're happy with you, bro. 240. That's all we want. That's all we expect. Right? Denzel Clark, he went 2 for 9 with a double. He had multiple Denzel type catches, and that helps balance the strikeouts. He had 6 overall. Okay, that's fine. Obviously, he's going nowhere. You can't keep highlight film like that away, right? Sodi, he only went 2 for 12 with a double, but he had 5 walks, right? 5 walks. Kurtz, 3 for 14 with a double. 3 RBI, that base is clearing, right? But he had 4 walks, okay? Muncy, bad series. I think the Rangers are in division, and they know how to pitch the guy. But he went 1 for 7. He had 6 Ks. So, yeah, he isn't doing anything else but striking out, right? McNeil cooled off. But, I mean, what are we talking? It was McNeil in New York. He was 2 for 14 after having hits in 9 of 10 games. And demolishing. He was demolishing the East Coast, right? It was bound to level off, and it did. The A's faced the Chicago White Sox, 6:40 West Coast time, Sutter Health Park. I will see you Sunday. Hopefully another series win is under our belt. They're not very good, at least in the total wins. So to end on a good note, think of it this way. We took 2 of 3 from the division-leading Astros. We took 2 of 3 from the division-leading Yankees. We swept the Mets 3-0. And we won 2 and lost 2 versus the division-leading Rangers. Be stoked, A's fans. We're on a pace for 86 wins with one of the most difficult schedules in baseball so far. Think about that. That's all I got, man. Peace.